Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Greetings. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So I'm late. Still running around, getting ready. Yeah, how's you guys' week going?
Well, mine's blissful.
Hey, what was that? I couldn't quite hear. It's my
Well,
audio. Let's
it's probably
see.
my audio as usual.
Okay, that's better now.
Hear you guys fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've just been I've been going through my main wood shop where my all my model making and 3D printing and all that is, and I got sick and tired of having piles of stuff in every corner that I couldn't deal with, and went through and did a bunch of reorganizing, and I've spent about 5 days moving and sorting stacks of lumber and throwing out stuff I'll never use. And I only need another 4 or 5 days, and maybe I'll be able to walk in there and actually achieve something when I want to instead of 3 days later.
Understandable. I can relate.
Yeah.
I've not got much space here. I just got things stacked up. I've got I still got some of those dragons that I printed out. What I want to do is take pictures of it and then throw it up in the attic so I have some space for myself here. Yeah, so kind of relatable.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, how about you, Robert? How's your week been? 3D printing
Oh,
and stuff.
same thing. I gotta try to get organized, and a couple of things got in the way of getting into my area there and that. So I've been same that I've been working on learning to print the multi-board instead of Gridfinity, and I'm gonna switch to that and start putting stuff on the walls and use that belt printer I got to print longer sections of it. So
Nice. That's
I
pretty cool.
well, I might have to pay the subscription, the $10 a month to get uh, the when you go on the multi-board with the free version, you can only your tiles can only be 12 by 12 or the number of holes in it or whatever. And for the belt printer, of course, I want to make them several feet long and then wide as it'll go. So, um, but yeah, that multi-board that guy shows holding a 45-pound dumbbell.
Wow.
Yeah, so it holds a lot of weight. It's got just more options in Gridfinity for uh, the way you do the bases and stuff. But unfortunately, Fusion, they don't have the. In Gridfinity, Fusion has an add-in for free that you can get in there and just pop them out quick, but they don't have it yet for multi-board.
Okay. Probably
Yeah.
something in the future, maybe a future update.
Well, that's somebody that somebody has to write the add-on, and I ain't ready quite to get into that yet. Fusion uses Python and that for their add-ons and scripting, so
Okay. Yeah,
and I
complex
know
stuff.
basics, but not enough to do that yet. Although I may take a stab at it with a Chat GPT or something. So,
Oh yeah,
aren't
did
you a
you?
programmer, Stan?
I've done a fair bit of programming in my life, but Python came in after I had left doing it
Oh,
professionally.
oh, yeah.
Although I did just get to play with Python with Hunyan because they limited the freebie version of 50,000 faces.
Oh
And I
wow.
got sick and tired of seeing the left eyeball dripping down onto the shoulder on everything I tried to render. So, quite literally, I'm not exaggerating there. It's not me being my usual weird me, it's me recording actually. And
Rendering and what?
well, basically, the left eye I found on figures, particularly if you're rendering from a photograph, it just doesn't seem to understand spherical, shiny objects like eyeballs. It seems to
Yeah.
throw it off.
So he's talking
And
about the image to 3D model software, the
right,
Hunyan.
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep. The left eye ends up being about half of the face and located roughly down around the hinge on the jaw rather than up in the orbit.
Wow.
So I decided, okay, I might be able to fake that with paint if I stick to HO scale, but they're small anyway. You can lie with paint. But I went in and I just did I'm not a great programmer, but I did the good old Google and said 50,000 face limit, and sure enough, I found out where it was in the source, went in, and when you comment the if and raise error, two lines of code that have that greater than 50,000 part in them. Well, as long as you don't mind waiting an hour for results, I've rendered as many as 120,000 faces. Um, it takes a while, but I fire it off and then I'll go to bed and see what happens. But it still is not rendering both eyes well.
Okay.
So there may be some other parms that I need to play with in there. And but today was the joyous day where Schwab had the data available to import into your tax software. So I was a little occupied today with that entertainment. And
Nice.
well, as much as giving money to the government is ever a source of joy and happiness, but yeah.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
it could be a lot worse. I'd rather, there are worse problems in the world than needing to pay taxes.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I want to
But,
mention in terms of the coding, basically, I'd heard that they did an update with Claude. So the AI that I use is Claude, right? Claude AI, and they recently released a 3.7 version, and that's up from 3.5. And apparently, this one is like a mastermind with coding. Like they got some serious stuff. I think somebody like coded a whole game off of one prompt. That's how good it is. So yeah, coding wise, Claude AI is pretty impressive. I've heard. Obviously, I haven't tried it myself, but I'm hearing a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, because the version I've got installed runs what is it, Gradio, but it keeps telling you, oh my gosh, you're running 3.3 and we've released 4.4. However, everybody says that Punyan won't work with the new versions of that. So that's kind of interesting. I'll have to do a little digging around, and what the heck, I can always reinstall from scratch at some point if I need to. It will keep me off the street corners for a while.
Nice. Oh yeah, I want to give a few updates. So in terms of like the business stuff, so I've created like a few nameplates just for like local barbers. So trying to get some more reputation, just basically like local, because the idea is basically what I'm going to do is have as many people knowing that 3D printing as possible, make them stuff, and then there's going to be like someone out there who's going to be like, oh, I have this kind of business venture, I need 100 units of this, and then start getting into like more kind of mass production stuff rather than doing a bunch of like different custom work, because that's not as scalable. Like, it's good to obviously get some sales and stuff like that and get more recognition, but it's going to take a lot of time doing this like slight edits and stuff like that, unless you're doing custom like models for that's like pre-existing stuff, just kind of taking requests. That's a lot easier. But if you're putting together like name signs like that, you have to do all the editing and blah blah blah. But yeah, there's obviously some ways around it, where I was thinking if you had like enough people ordering, let's say you had a bunch of nameplates getting ordered, you could hire someone to like do the STLs for the nameplates, pay them like a few dollars just to move a few things around, put some letters up, and then you just have all the models ready to print rather than you having to do the editing side of things. So that's an interesting kind of aspect. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you talking about your custom or your prints locally?
Exactly, yeah. So I did a recent one. I think it's in here somewhere. So yeah, basically I did one for like my barber a while ago, and he liked that one, so I ended up doing another one for another barber in the shop. So yeah, here's the nameplate I made.
What did you make that in?
This is just a PLA, and I made it on the A1.
I'm talking about how did you generate it?
Let me get Larry in here. You mean like how did I design it?
Yeah.
Hey,
what
what's up, Larry?
program did you design in?
This was just in Tinkercad, so I'm just showing off this nameplate. So yeah, Tinkercad, I put the SVGs for like these logos. I just went to Google, typed in this like location SVG, phone SVG, that's Instagram and TikTok. The IG QR code, basically directly in Tinkercad, you just type in QR when you go to the search function, and it basically just allows you to insert a QR code and put any link in there, and that works pretty easily. Same with the logos. I got the SVGs, and I just put the regular text in for Tinkercad, just for that, and just kind of moved it all around.
I've been using a couple of years since I got into Fusion. I was just wondering, can you do like a save as, and then save all the stuff that's common to those, and then just change some lettering? Or
oh yeah, you can do. So the text is pretty simple to do. The cool thing is, like, I was working with the barber to like ask him, okay, how do you want this kind of organized? So now that I've got like kind of the lettering in place, you can just kind of, just click that and change the letters around, organize it. Obviously the logos are pretty much going to be the same, the line, the locations, so it's not too much of a thing to edit, like if you're just doing these basic nameplates, but I'm doing like a new version where he basically asked for a bolder font. So I figured out how to get like a custom font into Tinkercad. Like you can go to Google Fonts. Let me share my screen and quickly show you guys. So yeah, you can literally go to Google Fonts. It was actually a Tinkercad video. I want to try and remember which video it was. I'll go to Google and search how I found it again. So Tinkercad custom font. So basically there's a video where he actually had like a link, and it shows you like a preview, this guy here, and I'll share that in the chat real quick.
So if you just install those fonts on your computer, it doesn't automatically pick them up, or
nope?
Tinkercad
in Tinkercad, huh?
Yeah, Tinkercad is kind of limited in how many fonts they give you. So they literally only have like 4 fonts that is part of like the main thing. So yeah, this thing here is pretty cool. Let me share the link in there as well. So literally you can type in like your word, let's say 3D Printerly, and you can click here and just kind of scroll down through. You can kind of see how the fonts look. There's a way to just hit tab, and you can just kind of scroll down. And there's like, obviously it's Google, so there's tons of fonts. This is just the A's. If you click into this, you got so many fonts. All right. And then what you do is you download the SVG, and what it's going to do is it's going to create this actual like size. So you can change the size here. You might want to put it down to like 30, which was in the video. So let me re-download that. Now I'll go straight into Tinkercad and show you quickly how it works. And yeah, Tinkercad is obviously very simple. Like Fusion 360, you can figure it out, but it can be a little bit long, like doing all that good stuff,
Oh, it's pretty easy in Fusion. You can just generate whatever fonts on your system. There are some that just don't work, though, some really weird ones. But
yeah, so you just go to you just go to import, you throw the SVG in there, and you click art, and then you just import it. Yeah, do you say some of the fonts with Fusion 360 aren't that great?
Well, I have Fusion picks up all the fonts in your system, and I have about 1,200 of them that I've downloaded and got from various places over the years. And then there's occasionally like certain ones that just they probably fixed it. That was over a year ago when that came up, and then in Fusion you can explode the font into a path so that you can modify individual letters and stuff pretty easy, and then you just export it as a 3MF to bring it to your printer slicer. But I mean, that's what you're doing works. It works, whatever works for you. And I'm just so invested in Fusion that I don't want to get jumping into other things. But
So
I wouldn't leave Fusion to go to Tinkercad. I've actually been trying to learn Fusion.
Good point. Like Tinkercad is really good for this quick and easy, simple, you want to do some like basic designs and you don't want to like have to spend hours figuring things out, it's good to get a starting point and then switch up to Fusion once you need it. Because like a lot of people start Fusion but they'll get too overwhelmed and just like never design again. But if you start with Tinkercad and you're like, okay, I can actually design stuff, and then you move to Fusion, then you're more likely to actually like stay in designing, you know. So I think it's a pretty good
just starting
transition.
out, yeah, it's and there's nothing wrong. Tinkercad does a lot of cool things and that. It's just lately, I mean, I probably haven't looked at it in 2 years, so I should, just to see what else they've added.
Oh yeah, let me show you the QR code. So literally just over here, let me just close that. So you just hit the search button here, just type in QR. Very, very simple. It's probably the best way I found to get QR codes. Pop it in there, and then any link, you know, let's say like google.com, that's going to populate. You know, you can change the color if you want. And the cool thing with the colors, well, yeah, you can resize it as you wish. I found literally 20 millimeters works just fine. So size wise, like, you know, it's 2 centimeters. It still can scan. So yeah, when you're exporting it, you can just like select all of it, hit export, and to like take the actual colors that you've already done, just hit OBJ, and that's gonna like import into like your slicer with the colors. But you have to like hit a couple options just to make that go through. So I'll quickly show you. So you just open that up. Let's see if that, there you go. Let's get this working. Hopefully it's not too slow. Yeah, so you just extract the files as usual. Whoops, I just hit cancel. Extract files. It's gone a little bit slow. And I should come up with the folder. And then it's going to be this Tinker file. So I'll just put something new in here. So
so
add
you're
another
using
plate.
object instead of 3MF, huh?
Exactly, yeah. So
yeah,
OBJ.
it'll export objects and STLs from Tinkercad. They don't let you do the 3MF, so you do it
No,
as
that
a
sucks,
object.
yeah.
So any color that you've already got there, you're
Yeah.
able to bring it out and not have to paint it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier. So like this is kind of weird because it has like 3 and 4. So I think you just have to like reset and then hit 1, hit 2. It's kind of weird with the colors, like it feels like it has a mind of its own, but let me see if it goes through. So that's come like the other way around. So let me try and redo it. It's kind of weird, like you type in the same thing, and let's try it. 1, 2.
No, can't you just go to your objects list over there and
Or like redo it
change
from
the
there.
colors
I was
there?
gonna say, why can't you just go to the
Oh yeah,
objects
where's
and
that
change
again?
the color?
Oh, it doesn't
Oh,
have
so it's
it
all just
split
like
out.
one.
Single, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to like it's weird because like I put in, let's see, so here it shows black, right?
Yeah.
Okay, before I think it was the other way around. So let's try that. 1, 2. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's the text. So you print that out, you know, the QR code's gonna scan. Got all your colors in there. Let me hit the preview so you can see that. I think it's better to use the Arachne, however you say it, wall generator.
Yeah, that's what I use most of the time because a lot of times doing
Yeah.
some of this stuff, the classic does not look good.
What
Yeah.
is the why is it not showing white as a separate color in that objects there?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean?
Go back to objects for a second. Yeah, it shows the nameplate is the oh, you got 2 plates in there.
Oh yeah, this is a separate place. So yeah, this is the one we're looking at now. This is the other
okay,
object.
yeah, I didn't see it on there. I just wonder why it shows the text white on the file, but not on the under the on the left under the plate two. Why does it show white and
because
black?
it was painted. So
It's basically one object, right?
if he clicks the paint bucket next to the one over there on Tinker Obj, it'll actually show the
This
colors.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say I went to fill.
Because the object was painted.
Yeah, exactly. So you hit 2, get it
Well, I
all
thought you
right.
just imported that. Did you not just import that one?
Yeah, so this is imported from Tinkercad, but as like
Oh,
one file.
you previously imported it and painted it then.
Well, basically, yeah, it paints from here in Tinkercad itself. So like, you can change the text colors here, and that's gonna like change around, right? So for some
Yeah,
reason, when you do STL, it just gets the actual geometry, but OBJ takes the color with it. But when you import the file, it doesn't show the separate colors in terms of like on the
okay, yeah,
slicer.
that's okay. That's interesting. That's something about object files that I didn't know. That's
It's weird. It's weird when you're importing them.
I'm gonna have to try that in Fusion and see what it does because I'm pretty sure it'll export to an object file too.
But see, like if he would have exported this or imported it into Fusion from Tinkercad, it probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, they made this new feature. I've not really used it yet, but it's called Sketch. But yeah, it looks pretty promising. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
have you seen it already?
No, where is that?
So I've seen people use it, but yes, it's kind of like Fusion,
Oh,
right?
you couldn't do that before in it. That's new in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So let's see. Finish Sketch, I guess. Yeah. So now we can do that kind of fusiony function in Tinkercad, which is a really cool update.
I didn't know they didn't do that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're bringing a bunch of the basic Fusion stuff into Tinkercad.
Yeah. Well, I forgot too that or Fusion Autodesk owns Tinkercad now, so I
Right.
didn't know that. I
Oh,
forgot
nice.
about that. Until I saw when you went to export, it gives you the option to send it right to Fusion. But because I've had files from people before that wanted me to do something with them, and I had to import them in, and then so yeah, cool.
Yeah, I've seen this thing where you can export it like straight to some printers. It'd be nice if they had the
Yeah.
bamboo in there. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
was part of that. You think yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty cool aspect. Tinkercad has got a lot of good stuff. Like this creator here, HL Mod Tech, like he's got tons of Tinkercad content. Like literally so many videos, 5K videos, right? And they're like mostly on Tinkercad.
Yeah.
So you see those twisty fidgets, the illusion names, custom labels. Yeah, he's got like anything you want to do. He's probably got a video on it, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's it's pretty interesting. Yeah, Nameplate came out really well.
I saw on
So-
your post you've been selling a few of those to around town, or just getting.
Yeah, so I've been making like some for free. So the first one I did for one guy. The second one I did, this was only like a few days ago, so I've given him that. So this next one that I'm doing, I'm selling it. So I'm doing an 80% discount for the next 5 people. So this one's only going to be about £5. So that's going to be like a nice little starter just to kind of get things up and running, right? And I actually sold a dragon and an egg to one of my friends from Facebook. And I was doing it for free, but he ended up actually giving me £10 just as a gesture. So that was pretty cool, Yeah, pretty cool stuff for sure. Yeah, just
when I
gotta
was
keep it
selling-
going.
And I had that display case up in that restaurant a couple of years ago, and I'd be selling, and they put on like $13 or something. A lot of times they'd give me a couple extra bucks, or Or if it was 17, they'd just give me a 20 and say keep it, and I'm like, cool.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
This was actually one of my very first creations, and it
Wow.
was created in Bamboo Studio.
Oh
Oh
wow.
yeah, there's sign maker in there. Have you tried that, Mike? The sign
This was
maker in
this
there?
was not even with the sign maker. I made
That
it
was like
from
from
Oh,
scratch, right?
scratch.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
tell.
oh,
Like,
and I've done like
yeah,
5 of these for here at work for people.
uh,
that's really nice, man. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. So you got
So,
the colors.
because that's the company logos and everything.
Is that in one
So,
layer, or is that like raised up a
um,
bit?
so I sat there and made it flush. So I printed it face down. So I actually put the texture on the front, and it's like 1.5 mils thick. So it's really thin, like the regular nameplates that they engrave into and everything.
Or you mean like the whole nameplate itself? Or you mean like,
Yeah, the thickness is so most of the nameplates are only like 1.5 to 1 3/4 mil. I mean, so it's really thin edge.
oh, like because
I
they
was like,
slide into
really?
those things, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
See, my one,
yeah,
these ones I
so
think I did like 5 millimeters,
right.
but this is like a shop one, so it's gonna be like either stuck to the wall or like just somewhere, you know. So I was like, it's a barber, so it's gonna be more movement. Let me make it like nice and durable.
Oh,
Right.
well, you could probably either put a hole in there in Tinkercad or just put a modifier in your slicer, a little cylinder, and cut it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like a little
Yeah.
hang up one, right?
Yeah, or a couple in the corners just so they could screw it to the wall or something. But
Yeah, that could be pretty cool.
I did that with a couple of Hue forges. I brought them into the slicer, and you just right click and put modifier, and you can cut a hole right out that way, super easy.
Nice. But you
With
do
with
like
a cell.
a negative modifier, one of those, right?
Yeah, you just put a cylinder or something in there and the size you want of the hole, and then um, but yeah, what I don't think it'll give you where you can have like for a screw, like the bevel at the top of the screw head or something, but it'll give you a hole. So
Yeah, you could probably do
whatever
like a
size you
thread.
choose.
You could maybe do like a
Well,
thread thing, right?
well, just for a something to poke a screw through to hang it up. You can do that anywhere on your sign you want or whatever, right in the slicer. But um, so because Hue Forge, I don't go through Fusion at all. Of course, I just go right to the slicer. So that made it simple to. I just haven't figured out how. I suppose what you could do if you really wanted a bevel, you could put a sphere in there as a modifier and put that at the top of the hole and just sink it partway into the print or something, so that if you use like a drywall screw or something to hang it, it would have that bevel in there. Depends on how thick you're doing them too, because if it's too thin, you wouldn't have much room to do that. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Just got my a dragon and an egg just finished. That's on the Elegoo Centauri. Let me see if I can move
He's
this
over
on.
there hatching dragons.
yeah. Well, that thing's still doing pretty well. Are you running any issues since you last time
So the funny thing
you
is,
did the review?
last night, literally, I had like a massive clog going on, right?
Yeah.
And literally, like, I'm talking print head full of plastic, right? Yeah, print head full of plastic. I had to get what do you call it? My heat on. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah. So I had to get this bad boy right here for about 200, 250. And it's like blowing the hot air and like slowly just taking pliers and it's like moving off all the material. I've actually still got some of
Yeah.
it. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
I've got a shorter wire, so let's see if I can.
I had the blob of death on my Prusa Mark III S Plus probably 2 3 weeks ago, and I tore it apart after I had to do the same thing. It just, oh my god! So I just decided I'm going to replace the whole hot end. I got using the heat gun and that, I was able to heat it up. But problem is, you got to be very careful of them little wires. If you toast one of them and burn the insulation off,
Yeah, this
and you
this
got
wire is
problems.
like
So
tiny.
yeah, they're really small in there. So uh,
Yeah, so I had like some of the residue. So this is the biggest chunk, as you can see, and this is all
ooh, yeah,
straight. This is all straight on the hot end, like literally right
yeah.
attached.
Oh, I know it
Yeah.
sucks, don't it? God, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, and I had
What
another.
was that? Was the nozzle loose, or any idea
Um,
what caused it?
I
Usually
think it
that has
was.
something to do with the
Or did it
nozzle
get caught
leaking or
up in the
something.
boot?
I think it was the first layer. There was some kind of clog while the first layer was happening or something. And then obviously because it didn't push out, it just kept on going and it was all like attached while it was going. So it's one of those ones. And here's like the piece. You can probably recognize the shape. Let's see how well we can get that. So this is directly inside the actual sock. Yeah, it's not really focusing
Oh,
too
God,
well,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I had
How
it
yeah.
too
happen to mine
wowie.
not too long ago.
What was that?
I had it happen to me not too long ago. Something happened in the first layer, and I wasn't in the room, and I come back, and the whole hot end was. I had that big blob, and everything. I was like, man, and it broke the fan duct. So
That
I was like,
sucks, dude.
oh man, and
That sucks.
it's like $20 to replace the whole faceplate on the X1, but you can't just buy the duct. But I was able to buy the BIQ duct for like $21 on Amazon and get it there to me in a couple of days. So that's what I did.
That's a good alternative. Not the worst, not the worst. Oh yeah, I had an issue on my A1 the other day. Luckily
Oh
I got
yeah,
it fixed, but it was something weird. Like I had an error talking about the flush cutter being jammed or something like that. So
oh wow,
I went through and I took it apart, kind of following this one thing. And as I was taking it apart, I was trying to remove like a section of like the PTFE tube, and it's got the attachment with the spring and everything, that little thing that clips to the head.
yeah,
So I was trying to like take a part of that off, and then the ribbon cable ended up ripping. So my ribbon cable went. I was like, well, that fucking sucks. So I had to contact support and show them this picture of the ribbon cable. They're like, oh, sorry to hear about your experience. End up sending one, came a
right,
couple days later. And it took me a while to like get these pieces apart and all these small screws, because I'm not too used to doing all of that stuff with the A1. But yeah, I finally got in there
right.
in the end, replaced the ribbon cable, replaced the flush cutter, because the actual screw wasn't, it was kind of like, what's the word when the screw stops screwing in, kind of thing, towards the end? I forgot the term.
Strip.
Exactly, yeah. So it got stripped, so it wasn't really pushing down all the way with the flush cutter. So I
Uh,
replaced the flush cutter handle and the ribbon cable, and now it's good to go. But yeah, it was a journey.
I started cheating, and it's like I've bought a few spares so that I can get back online quicker. But before I swap it out, I'll get with support. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's smart.
if they're gonna send me spare parts because I already bought something, then I'm for it. Give me the so I still have a spare.
It's a good idea. I mean, rather than waiting all that way, then you just swap it over in that. Pretty simple.
Especially so since the fires in LA, everything's been shipping from New Jersey's warehouse, and it takes a week or so now.
Oh, is
Wow,
that bamboo?
Yeah,
that's surprising.
my
Oh,
last
we.
my last order came from New Jersey because of the fires in LA. So
So you think you got it faster or slower?
slower because
Oh, okay.
normally from LA I get it in 2 to 3 days. From New
Oh, yeah.
Jersey it takes me at least a week. Sometimes I swear they send it the long way around
Oh,
where
and where are
where
you
it
at?
goes down. I'm in Vegas.
Oh yeah, you probably get it quicker there. It always takes me a week from them, no matter where I'm at in Minnesota. So
Oh wow.
That's because you're in the middle of podunk nowhere,
pretty
and they're
much,
fighting
yeah.
over who's the one that's going to get stuck to do the delivery.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
our FedEx guys get lost out here where I live.
Yeah.
Literally,
Wow.
I was a FedEx truck pulled up next to my shop. Now my shop, the only way back to it is either walking or you come off a main road onto an old sand road that disappears in the woods. And in 700 foot, you are at my shop building.
Wow.
This
Wow.
poor FedEx guy got all the way back in there. I mean, I keep it open for my truck and all and the tractor. It's not like it's impassable by any means. But
Right.
he was looking for something on the main road, and half the people don't have any numbers on mailboxes or anything else. And this poor guy's showing me his phone, and I'm like, well, I don't think this building even has a mail point anymore. It did maybe 30 or 40 years ago when it was still a church, you know?
Wow.
And, and it's like, well, I can tell you that house is 14 and that one's 144. You're looking for 746. You need to hang a right at the end of this sand road and just boogie till you see the water. You'll probably be getting close.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how often the GPSs just take people here, there, and everywhere. Um, I mean, I when my kids first came down here, I told them, I said, just ignore everything your GPS says. Look closely at your odometer. Daddy's going to give it to you by tenths of a mile.
Nice. Awesome.
Mm.
Awesome.
So AutoCAD now owns Tinkercad. So are we
Yeah.
taking bets on how long till Tinkercad becomes a subscription and a premium version?
I don't see that happening because I think it has like schools and all that.
Do you think Autodesk has ever failed to monetize anything? They've been
They're pretty
playing
good
that
at
game since before the IBM PC hit the market. Literally, with AutoCAD and the H100, they were playing those games.
it. Yeah, it's
With
interesting. It's interesting.
premium eating of various functions like the ability to draw a line or a circle, minor things. Yeah, kind of fun. Oh, well.
Yeah. Who knows, man? I mean, yeah. I feel like, because even Blender, like, it's impressive how they're still like, they're free, you know?
Yeah, but it always was open source.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Blender has been forked into easier to use versions. There's
At charge.
well, there may be, but there is at least one that was done. I think it was called Blender for Artists, but it didn't seem to ever really catch on and get much critical mass. I don't know whether it's still supported or if it's just an interesting little side path in the woods somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But FreeCAD apparently has actually almost delivered a stable product now that they're at a 1.0. I haven't sat down and played with it. When I get everything else done, I'll go back and look at it and see how it is.
Oh, yeah, let me quickly show you.
It certainly caused me great amounts of consternation trying to do something as simple as draw a square, extrude it into a cube, and save as an STL. That seemed to be an insurmountable challenge in FreeCAD for several years for me. I was always over and under constrained. Do the same thing in Fusion or Libre and just go and do it, and everything's hunky-dory. But very interesting, and a bunch of other people had the same experience, it seems. What's it?
Trying to find this one
So
more
what
that I
kind of
did.
potato chips do you have tonight, or as you go say, crisps?
I'm trying to find this one model that I did. Here it is. So yeah, this is a pretty cool one. Got some filaments and then put it together for a Hue Forge. Boom.
Ah,
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it came out pretty nicely.
Yeah, that's a good clean one there.
Yeah, nice color changes. Because like with Hue Forges, if you have things like that's not blending, you want to use filaments that's quite opaque, so it has a quick color change and not too much kind of blending from one color to another. And yeah, something like that. It's got a picture from Google.
You ever try the point two nozzle?
Nah, do you know what? I bought a point two nozzle, but I have no idea where it is. Like I searched all my drawers and everything. Maybe it's ironic because it's a point two, harder to find, but it was like in a box somewhere. I've got like 4 other boxes, 2 filament sensors. I've got 0.8 and another 0.4, but I can't find this 0.2. So I'm thinking just order another one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with the 0.2 because I was using that with those chips that I make for my son, and that same chip went from, so I print a plate full, and it went from like 7.5 hours to 21 hours of printing. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's gonna increase your time quite a bit, but I definitely noticed on my U forges the quality difference. So,
Well,
but
I figured
this one here.
I figured, I wanted to try it with those.
Yeah, this one, right?
Because, that one. Those were done with 0.4.
Oh, nice.
And I did it with 0.2, and the QR codes came out really crisp. And that font is one of those fonts from the Google fonts.
Oh, nice.
What printer is that on?
X1.
Oh, okay. Well, what you could try on that with the bamboo, I did it on my on my Mini, and I think on my P1S, on the 0.2. Since it's having to push so much less filament, try bumping it up to sport mode. I didn't have any issue with that, printing lithophanes and stuff. So
right.
Nice.
I actually bumped it up to sport mode, and it went from the 21 hours to something like 18 hours. So
it's like 24% on their modes. That's the one thing about bamboo I hate, is they don't let you set your own percentages, because on a lot of prints, even a 10-15%, if you can't get away with sport mode, then you should be able to go up 10%, and you can't do that. That just irritates me. The only slicer I know you can't do that in. Or the only printer I know you can't do that on. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'm not doing multicolor, so I don't have the same types of issues with the 0.2. Because I don't have all the purges going on. I don't have all that other happiness going on. And usually I see less than a doubling of print speed when I go with that, unless quite often, though, I'm going to drop down to like a 0.08 layer height, which is kind of sketchy to deliver with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle in a 3D object you're printing with a lot of detail. So,
do you know the interesting thing? With Hue Forges, you can actually go down to 0.04, but I don't know how well it translates to actually like 3D models. But for Hue Forges that are laying quite flat, like 0.04 actually works with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle.
Yeah. Well, Hue Forge is doing something very, very different than conventional printing. So
yeah, exactly.
Like I printed
a really great it's a great product. It's really cool. Until Bamboo decided to shoot themselves in the foot and make me not want to buy any of their printers ever again. I was about to buy an A1 with their baby AMS just to play with Hue Forge and a little bit of other stuff, figuring if nothing else, well, it only costs you $150 for the AMS and the bundle. I'll get at least that much fun or frustration out of it. And meanwhile, I'll have another reasonably quick bed slinger available. But I kind of went, never mind.
Did you guys see this post? Let me just put this up real quick. So someone sent me like a picture of this horse, and then I put it through the Hon Wuyan software.
Yeah.
And that's what I made out of it, which is very impressive, right?
Yeah, the eyes are in the right place. They don't do that with people. Apparently, they like horses.
Yeah, so I was like pretty impressed about how this.
Was that the statue thing or something?
No, so this
Or is
is
that
this is like a software AI. It's basically 2D to 3D model. It's called Hun
oh,
Yan. What's
Yeah,
the
Hung Young.
thing? What's the thing on again? The glitter, is it glitter or something? Hugging face, yeah, hugging face. Oh, that's trellis.
what's it?
This one here.
You mean GitHub?
No,
Yeah,
this is
Hung
like the
Young.
thing. This is where they hold like the actual software, right? Just on
Oh,
here.
okay, yeah. Yeah, you can install it
Yeah,
in
show
Windows and
that.
all, but it is very persnickety about versions of Python, CUDA drivers. It's very persnickety. It's not a,
So you're
I
saying
would
that's the
have to
one?
say it's not the most robustly written code in the world because it should be a bit more independent.
So you
Yeah,
I can see having
that
minimum levels of CUDA drivers and a minimum level of Python, but to not be able to go to the current release level of Python or of CUDA makes me go, kind of sketchy code here, boys and girls.
yeah, that's
But
understandable.
it is a neat little package.
so that's that hugging face. Is that free or is that a subscription too?
It's free. I think they've recently like. I think you have to like sign in and get some credits and stuff, something like that.
Yeah, there's a free version of it if you want to use it online. This is the one that I'd been talking about before, where I ended up upgrading a box to 64 gig of RAM and putting in a 3060 Ti graphics card so that it would actually run reasonably well. And I wouldn't have done that, but my photo editing software is also very lustfully happy to have a huge amount of RAM
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
and
not
So
another
that's
Mike,
not
and
bad.
another spare 4,000 CUDA cores for when it's playing. So
so
it
that
was well
did that
spent on a need.
horse was that totally 3D then?
Yeah, yeah. Where did I put it? I'm trying to remember. I saved it somewhere. Um, Maybe it's in one of these other files. Yeah. Let's go on now. So yeah,
So it
basically I had to
generated
take it
that whole
into.
model from that.
Nah, I had to basically. I took an existing model just from Tinkercad. Not Tinkercad, from Thingiverse, and then I basically went to Blender, and you can see from the picture in school. So you can kind of see the progression. So these are the models. You can see that, right? So this is the other model. There's a second picture, and I did like a generation, and this is the model from Thingiverse. So I was like trying to match it up in terms of the size, and like doing some editing. So I cut like the actual like head from that section.
Oh, okay. So that does that this hugging face or whatever does the same thing as the Maker World Statue Maker.
Exactly, yeah. But the better thing
Okay,
is,
that's what
yeah,
mhm.
the Makeover statue is like just for faces, but this one is literally for anything. Because I tried to put a
Oh,
horse
okay.
into the Maker statue, and it's like error, can't find face.
Okay. So it's only human faces.
You you
Yeah, this is our
That's
PLA,
neat.
so it broke off.
You successfully transplanted a horse's head onto a different horse.
Yep.
That's pretty spiffy. Wasn't there a movie Reanimator which involved something of those types of
Oh,
shenanigans?
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But the mare
Now,
was
now he's going to
two-legged and a
change the
lot hotter.
legs. He's going to change the legs. He's going
And
to
put
put stitches in
some
there.
human ears.
Oh man, yeah. Gonna have ET looking out from under the tail.
Yeah, you can do all
Please
sorts.
send me home.
See, Mesh Mix is really good for like putting the meshes together. That's like what they're specialized for. So I was like, yeah, let me learn some tricks in there. Yeah,
That's
it came
pretty
out.
neat.
Yeah, I had to use like the
I
sculpting
just love the
tools.
horse with the head cut off. It's like, are you making them an offer they can't refuse?
Nice. Yeah, yeah. So I had to use like some of the brushes. So they're like two brushes that worked really well for like fading in and stuff. In Mesh Mixer. So I just found like a YouTube video explaining how to connect meshes together, and I was just like, going back and forth trying to make it smooth. So the seam is still a bit like there, but you can barely see it. Like, yeah, you can't really see it there, can you? Had the ears break off because of the PLA. But yeah, I made it in PTG and that came out a lot stronger. So yeah.
See, there's the start of the human ears going on there, Stan.
Yep.
Exactly.
There we go.
That's
Just
good.
can't wait to see what interesting and unnatural beasties you've conjured up by next week.
Yeah, you can see the Bulbasaur print in the background as well. Mid print. You see that?
The blur.
Well,
Yeah.
and the fact that, my gosh, you've hacked off a hunk of the leg too.
Oh yeah, that broke off. I think, how did it break off? I think I was trying to stand it up or something. No, that's how the ears broke. I was trying to stand it up, it fell down, the ears broke. I think the leg just kind of. Do you know what actually happened? So here you can see this modifier, right?
Yep.
So initially I had this, and basically what I did was I rotated it to try and get some better kind of quality in the Z-axis. So I had it like that, but I had this like flat, or not like that, but I had this flat, but then I had changed the orientation without changing I think the modifier I had. There's a modifier that I put in there, yeah, like a height range modifier. So I ended up having the height range modifier of like a certain value, and I changed obviously the orientation, so the height was different. So where the leg was, it was a lot weaker in where it was, right? So that just broke off like way easier than it should have. But yeah, this is a nice little
How
bit
many
of
walls and infill did you do?
let's have a look. I think it was like 15. I did some strong, well, for this modifier here, this is 100% infill for like the legs down here. So that's got some strength. 3 walls, and for the actual models, 3 walls as well, and 20% rectilinear. So we can slice that. So obviously because it's small, it's like, let me give it some strength, and I want to give it some like nice weight at the bottom to try and ground it, but it still doesn't stand as well. Like it can stand, but a little bit of pressure is going to knock it down because of like how the leg is, right?
Yeah, one of the problems you run into with those small models with any kind of small skinny part like that is that exact thing, because the layer lines are going the wrong way to really give it strength. So
Exactly. That's why I tried to do the orientation to try to get the layer lines. So yeah, it wasn't actually quality. Yeah, it was the like layer size or the layer orientation, right, for the legs. Yeah, but it just wasn't printing well. I was doing tree supports rather than normal supports when I did the orientation, so maybe it could have been the tree supports for this model, or just the orientation itself. I wasn't too sure, but it's probably the supports, to be honest. The tree supports is it wasn't coming out too great with this model. And this little
Well, I think the thing to do is to go find yourself two models on Thingiverse of just surgeons or veterinarians or something, and put a shotgun over one's arm and have them come walking across to the horse, and everybody will get except the horse owner will appreciate the humor in it.
yeah, I did a nice little painting as well, if you can see that. So in the picture I had like this little white mark, so I can get this picture back up. Yeah, right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
There's the whole
like,
horse.
yeah, it's the same one. It's like, let me put a little mark there, signify that. Get a little extra. But yeah, it was pretty fun to do, man. Like learning the process of doing that. Yeah, enjoyed that for sure. Yeah. So like a nice skill to learn, especially for 3D printing. You can make it come to life. Yeah. This one I did like, I got a picture. This is my friend. He's like a DJ. So I got like a SVG of his logo, and I put the website in a post. It's a pretty good SVG, like PNG to SVG like file. This one here, it's probably the best one I found. It makes like pretty good SVGs.
That's the one I
Yeah,
use.
nice. Yeah, they're really good in it. Good quality. Yeah. How long you got on time? 5 minutes. Okay. But yeah, this is a nice intro into the custom stuff. Oh yeah, I came across this what do you call it? This like company, and they make some insanely like epic custom models. I can't remember the name. It was on Facebook, like, but yeah, the level of like customizations that they're doing is insanely good. It's insanely good. They had like an Instagram that I was on before.
STLFX.
It's quite a unique company. They're quite low key, so I don't think it'd be like.
And it's not STLFX because they went full out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
Gonna
just
have to
had
find
this
them.
big launch with lifetime memberships and all that stuff.
You say STLFX?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, I've not heard of them. But yeah, like these models were like really good. I'm just trying to remember the name. It wasn't like too
Ah,
noticeable of a name.
I see you were fooling with Trellis.
Oh no, I just had that when I was looking at Hugging Face. But yeah, Trellis was another. Like Trellis was the top three image to 3D model. Trellis,
Yeah.
Hunyan, and Backflip AI were the top three that I
Yeah.
found.
Trellis has a little problem though for installing for yourself, and
What's
that
that?
is it requires uh, a GPU with, I believe, 32 gig of VRAM minimum. So you've got to be up into the A100 V series NVIDIA stuff. I've heard rumblings that someone has done a Windows install of it that will work with 8 gig. I don't know. I haven't traced it down yet. I've been kind of busy doing other stuff besides scratching curious nerd itches for the last couple weeks. So,
They're always scratching curious nerd itches.
well, that's what we do, isn't it? We wouldn't be here if we weren't curious nerd, scratchy type guys that like to play.
Yeah, but you
Stop.
turn around and say that you
a good
haven't
point.
been. You just haven't done as many.
I've been doing different. Yes.
Okay.
I've been
Stretch
scratching
wide.
different nerdy itches.
I mean, that's kind of the way my week's been. It's like all of a sudden I knew I had one major project and a few smaller ones I needed to work on this week. I ended up with 5 different projects on my plate balancing out for the last few days.
Oh yeah.
Ouch. Is that regular?
Each one your number one priority according to the program manager who doesn't talk to anyone else.
Kind of talking to everybody else, and my big priority was an upgrade of one of our conference rooms where I just got rid of the projector and I'm putting a 98-inch screen in there.
Oh my.
Hmm.
Sheesh.
A 100-inch projector screen, switching over to a 98-inch display. Yes.
Mhm.
Epic.
Also, somebody can leave it to CNN or the Weather Channel on 24 hours a day to make believe they're the
No,
nerd.
this is one of our big meeting rooms here,
Oh,
and we've had and so it needed an update, and we've also had questions when tours come through about being able to use the screen from the other room and mirroring. So we just had a big project redoing this whole thing, and the 98-inch and the 75-inch can sit there and mirror the same stuff from one computer.
nice.
Nice. That's pretty
And
cool.
we can fit, I think, 40 people in the room for a big meeting, and we can project it on Teams and stuff at the same time.
Impressive.
Nice.
You
We're about to turn into pumpkins, folks.
yeah,
Yeah. Was it T minus?
we're always pushing
40?
that.
I know, right up to the ragged edge and flop now.
As
Yeah.
as Michael says, everybody have a good
Wow.
Mm.
Thanks, everybody. It's been.
Everyone have a great.
That's going to be our stick from here on, isn't it?
Goodbye.
Take care.
Or
Take
even
care.
there.
Who's got the timing good? 3,
Yeah.
2, 1. See.
Bye. Maybe
And of
not.
course, it lets us stay on.
Now it's just gonna go on forever. And there we go.